G'day, listeners. This episode is proudly brought to you by our sponsors, supshq.com.au. Use BWB15 at checkout to receive 15% off and direct shipping.
Hi, guys and girls, and all those in between. Welcome back to another episode of Bros with Brains. Here with my co-host, Ben. What's going on, big boy? Yeah, I'm just gonna run the podcast by myself. Get out.
How you doing, Aaron? Good, thanks, Gav. How are you?
ESC, how are you? Good. Aaron, how about yourself? I mean, I'm only known as ESC these days, bro. I don't even get called by my first name anymore.
You know, Warren one. You don't deserve it.
Nah, Aaron doesn't exist. It's just elite strength coach.
Well, you're elite. Just walking down the street.
Yeah, half by luck. I wish I could say that that's never happened, but it has. But anyway.
Social media.
Bad. Anyway, how you been? You been all right?
No, I'm good. I'm fucking crazy busy. It's great. We've got the episode dropping. So our videographer got back to us. He's definitely dipped himself in the wrong ponds because he's got obviously Lukey, Muscle Nerds, and now myself, two of the most obsessive, driven people you can probably get your hands on in terms of the way they do work.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'll do all the work for you guys.
Yeah, so, he's fucked up.
Yeah, he's now done fucked up run.
He's like, I have not charged these guys enough. Yeah, I'm gonna have to redo. Sorry, guys, at the end of this year, I'm gonna have to increase my prices. Yeah, 100%.
Legit, because it's like he had to go down to the Muscle Nerds seminar down in Melbourne, which was like a 3-day commitment, plus the editing each day to get that out and done and record or whatever. Then had to have so I think he's pulled a sneaky and messaged like Brooklyn and some others for like background data on me for like photos and stuff that he's going to try and include. Basically just told me he's like prepared to cry, and I'm like, nah, mate, my AI's on. I'm good. That's not happening. But yeah, so he's like put his hand up for all that, and now he's got the content to come out for us. He's put his hand up, so pretty much once that's done, he's going to be doing a lot more like been on financials and stuff and what the return on terms of like the actual content is, like the quality and what interaction it gets.
Yeah.
Monthly stuff for us. So like a pretty much plan is just like hash out a whole day of whiteboard writing and stuff like that. So like Dr. Mike Totsovic type shit, and just pretty much have similar content like that. So we'll be including there. And he's like, yeah, sounds good. And I think he's actually realized that like having two people like Luke probably isn't as good thing. He's just fucking flat out.
I could imagine. It's just like, yeah, like I said, he just hasn't charged. From January 1st, 2023, my prices will now double for only Luke and Ben.
Yeah.
Everyone else, prices are normal.
Yeah, legit. For Luke and Ben, different prices. For anyone with obsessive compulsions, extra price. But yeah, like he's like got overexcited and obviously got amped up by Brooklyn's excitement and my excitement and just the love of being around. Pretty much, I think he had the best time of his life being at the bodybuilding show. So he's like, next time I'm 100% sneaking backstage, getting back there, capturing everything. I was like,
yeah, 100%. No, I think that from memory, they didn't allow it, right? Like they had their own camera guys and stuff because when we were backstage, I don't remember seeing other people, only like competitors with a phone.
There was a few people, and we brought it up because on all the paperwork and all the documentation, it was like only one videographer. You have to pay for our guy. And it's good. Pretty much it was just basically like one person walking around capturing the day, and you may be a part of the video.
Yeah, of course.
Paying for. And then next minute there was like at Queensland there was like 2 or 3. At Nationals there was a couple, and it just like you just had to pay for a media pass. But Phil only came to the state show. We didn't realize at the time.
Yeah.
By the time it was like we figured it out, it was like time for Tom to get on stage. So I was like, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, that's all right.
But yeah, in future I was like, bro, like when I went like. Judging by season B next year, I was like, you've got a few shows to come to and we'll be paying you for it. So he's going to be a busy man.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be very busy.
Yeah. So we got that. Clients have been flocking in, which is great. Consults going crazy. Variety of consults too, which is awesome. Like people actually wanting preps, but then also like mindset and mental coaching and stuff around other people's preps and sort of like more life stuff. Something that I'll definitely rant on eventually, but the clients I'm getting from a mental side coming from a genuine fear developed by poor coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, I don't think anyone's system is ever perfect, but if you're genuinely having clients walk away with PTSD or anxiety or traumas based on your interaction of expectation and perfection, you're not coaching, you're just fucking shit. Like you're ruining lives. And to have consults with people that, I have to modify how I coach with them to not trigger things and
Yeah,
make
of
sure
course. Yeah,
they're in
yeah.
a
So yeah,
position.
you're almost just tripping on eggshells, right? Like
Yeah, it's scary, man. Because I'm just like, I don't want to be that guy or like recause things, but obviously we've got to modify how we engage and do stuff. Like genuinely fear of like, okay, let's just do one thing at a time. Like let's do nutrition first, or my mindset around nutrition, then we'll do training, then we'll do this. I'm like, that's genuinely dangerous, man. Like you having someone walk away from your coaching service feeling like that, that's fucked.
yeah, see, this is why I'm not qualified in doing anything to do with the brain. I
Yeah,
just refer on, and it's like, nah.
that's it.
If I
And
can't tell you to stop being a pansy, then I don't want to coach you.
yeah, pretty much.
Like,
But like it's sadly like you want to say it's their fault, but it's not. Like it's not their fault. It's
nah,
just
I can understand it. There's
it's just a poor interaction that's resulted in like very shitty consequences.
yeah,
So the variety, it's good because our plan all along is never to just get hunkered down in preps. I just love prep and bodybuilding. So to have a diversity of clients coming through and checking in for calls and stuff, and just have people that are curious on preps and things like that, and how it might work, and actually sitting people down to have expectations of chats about what your time frame looks like. Stop just expecting a 20-week turnaround, or like us never working together and you prep it in 20 weeks is just very unlikely. Like actually setting realistic expectations of like 12 months, 18 months. Like let's set logical periodization, not
of
just
course,
hey,
yeah,
here's a fucking
yeah,
20-week prep I haven't seen you before.
yeah,
Like just it's good. I'm enjoying it. Haven't really had a chance to stop, but I'm like playing catch up with fatigue as well still. So as we've talked about, I'm still trying to not deal with that, I guess, just actually modify and mitigate and recover it.
yeah.
Body feels better, food's up, body condition's pretty solid. Like definitely this time last prep, I was much more blown out by this. Not that we're trying to hold a shredded condition, but more so
No,
just
it's being
obviously
smart about
being
bringing,
smart. Like as
yeah,
Kuba said, like I just went straight into research actually post comp, which is me. Looking at post comp phases and stuff and the way certain other practitioners or coaches prescribe, and following the way Kuba dives into things, and his recommendation around controlling the the rebound enough that you can then actually have a strong growth phase. Because
yeah,
obviously, the faster you put on fat, the faster you have to cut, right? So
yeah,
actually making sure that you're setting yourself up for a longer runway and being smart about it, so that you can get 3, 4, 6 months of a growth phase as opposed to 2, and
yeah.
then being
Well,
a fat fuck and
you're
cutting.
up to what, 95?
Yeah, 95
Yeah, you're
still
like
has an vacuum.
yeah, but I'm saying you're like you're 10 kilos up off on stage weight. So it's kind of
Yeah,
like, I mean,
yeah,
you've done everything properly.
yeah,
Like,
and
yeah,
that's 10 kilos. And let's be honest, like take away glucose and fucking sodium and water, like that's not even 10 kilos. It's not a true 10
Yeah,
kilos.
exactly right. So it's like,
It's,
I wouldn't be too concerned. It's
yeah.
just filling everything back up and everything sort
And
of,
then you've got people that are fucking 20 kilos up already thinking that they're getting jacked as fuck.
yeah, it's just like you can see it in their face. They just get fat. You're like, bro, you're fat. Shut up.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You can run all the drugs you want. You're still just getting fat.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly
care if
right.
it's 120 fat or 95 fat. You're still just getting fat.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
but yeah, no, besides that, like, pumps have been fun. Training's been good. It's exciting. And I guess the announcement last night, we are officially the dream team that no one asked for, but they get.
Yeah, 100%. This is going to be a lot of fun, I
Fucking
reckon.
fun. I was saying to Brooklyn, I was like, there's a lot you've figured out, and I think there's gonna be a lot more for you to figure out. But it's just gonna be like, especially as the intensities go up and the extremities get crazier, and I'm just gonna be like, I want to do this. And you're gonna say, shut up. Most of
Yeah.
most of
Uh,
most of your coaching is just gonna be telling me to back off.
yeah, it sounds like me with a couple of my powerlifters. It's like, can I do no? How
Yeah,
about no? Why
yeah,
but no?
pretty much.
How about
Like
no but yeah but no but
just expect intense, annoying questions, and just saying no.
it's like it depends because it's like I've got a couple of really like experienced coaches that I coach as well, and they'll ask me a question. It's very rare, so it's like when they do ask me the question, I'm always interested. It's like, where did that train of thought come from? Like,
Yeah,
explain to me how
yeah,
you deduced
and
that
I'd always give you that.
hypothesis, because if you have a legitimate case, hey, I'm learning here. Like, yeah, okay. Most of the time, it's like, no, you're an idiot.
Would you prescribe that to your own clients? No, then shut up.
Yeah, it's like, nah, probably not going to do that, bro. Like,
Yeah.
sorry.
Well, like I like even when I do pester you, I usually try to map out why I've landed on
Yeah,
an
yeah,
idea.
exactly. That's why I'm
And
like,
it's
I'm
like,
happy to listen to it and be like,
yeah,
if there is a plausible reason and
yeah,
it works, hey, I'm all for it. Let's try it.
100 meters of D-bol straight
Just
away.
yeah, like 9 times out of 10, there's not.
Yeah, I just get overzealous and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like I want to do this, but why?
Yep.
Because yeah, go on.
What game we playing? I win.
Yeah,
Why do
yeah,
you
pretty
win?
much. Literally, that's what
That's
it is.
yeah, that's pretty much how I go. So yeah, it's gonna be fun to build that. I don't know. I see it as the next progression towards my pro card in terms of where we go from here. And obviously there'll be a lot of interaction and learning in terms of like for me to give my clients as well. Already having access to you and the people around me means I'm always learning or asking questions. So usually it's for a question for me for someone else as well. So that'll obviously be just as exciting, getting more, more confidence and knowledge around my guys and girls and clients and stuff as well. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fucking fun 18 months, and then we cut. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it progresses, but plan is realistically 18 months of predominantly growing to a good position to be on stage again by 24.
Yeah.
2024, sorry.
That'd be the goal.
It's fucking 115 lean, pull down to 97 on stage, kill it.
That'd be the goal. That's the dream. The dream's to have a dream.
Beautiful. Fucking beautiful. How are you? How's golf? How's training? How's work?
Golf is at a minimum at the moment. Been moving house, which is a pain in my ass, but it is what it is. Luckily, I'm only moving 10 doors down. But as always, in Melbourne, no, well, yeah, 3 doors down. So, being Melbourne in mid-November, of course, it's raining. So walking 10 houses has become a bit of a job because you're trying to get in between all the rain and then including work and all that sort of stuff. It's a real pain in my ass, but is what it is. We're all good in the hood. A little bit more to do, a couple of final touches. I'll actually be out of the house, I think, by the time this airs on Saturday, considering we're recording on Wednesday. Need to be out by Friday and everything's pretty much done. So that is good, which means not much time for golfies. But for those listening, I did buy myself some more golf clubs, I'm not going to lie.
6 months time, they'll arrive.
No, look, they've said 4 to 6, and then I said, so we'll allow for 8, and he goes, be safe, we'll call it 10.
I'll meet you in the middle, 20.
He's a good dude. It's actually really, really funny. So it's like, you know how like we're all really passionate about what we do. So it's like when you get asked a question, like you just go balls deep. You just and you end up talking about shit like you don't even have to really talk about, but because it's kind of sort of semi-related, you start bringing it out anyway.
Yeah.
It was like this when I was getting fitted for these golf clubs. So I've upgraded my golf clubs again, basically getting a little bit better at golf. So I'm like, cool. I was talking to the guy. I'm like, look, I play off this handicap, give or take. I'm like, this is how I play, blah, blah. He goes, cool. Let's put you in the sim. Let's see what your numbers look like. And he's talking about, lie angle of the clubs, how you get to play, how you want to spin, how you want to do this, how you want to do that. I'm like, man, like this guy was nerding out. He was having a gay old time. Like, loving life, and I'm sitting there I'm all for this. I'm sold by these ones.
I'm buying, and I say this all the time when it comes to like sales and stuff. And this is where like when people ask about my sales tactics or how I do things, I'm like, most of the time when I get reviews from someone after a consult or way we've chatted or done, like they've finished coaching, the reason why they bought was because they saw the excitement and passion in what I do. Like it's not just on the fact that I promise you results or like guarantee XYZ or lie and mislead you about something. It's just like when people can pick up on how fucking nerdy and passionate you are about shit, they're just like, I want in. Like whether I don't know that this guy's going to give me all the answers, but I can guarantee he's the guy who's going to find out.
100%. And it's like, it's an easy sell when you're obviously invested in it. When you're selling your product, that makes it much easier to sell. But anyway, so that's where I'm at. Trying to find somewhere to play. I've got my birthday coming up in 2 weeks, so trying to find a really nice course to play on the Saturday. It should be so far. The weather forecast is good. Like
no, it'll change tomorrow.
It's Melbourne. It'll change the day of. But trying to find somewhere fancy as fuck to play. I'm thinking there's a club out here. I think 13th Beach. It's like $135 to play. It's fucking, but it's mint. So I'm like
rest of the nines type shit.
Yeah, like they're potentially hosting the Com Games.
Oh yeah,
in 4 years' time or whatever it is. They're going to be they're on the list to host the Com Games out that way. So if that's the case, I'll try and get out there and play. I've only ever heard good things about that course, so I am keen.
Look, I'd say I'd come down for a swing, but they wouldn't either let me in and they wouldn't let me play. I'm just digging divots.
Pretty much.
6 in a divot.
Yeah, literally. I'm just going to give you the sand and be like, just cover my fucking divots, bro.
Yep.
And drive the cart. Fucking doing donuts and shit.
Fucking fagging.
That's what I did when I was up there, bro. That's what I did. I played St. Lucia up there. And because it was the day after all that rain, going down, I didn't realize that one of the holes, like the hill was steep as fuck. And I was driving down and I did not slow down. I got to the bottom and I started to nearly tip. So I've spun the fucking thing around, done a 360 and kept going straight. And the guy I was playing with, he was like, "Oh, nice turn." I'm like, "Man, I shot myself. I thought I was going to fucking roll this thing."
Nailed it.
Good times. But I hear you have a topic of discussion today, sir.
Well, I mean, it sort of came through from a few people's messages, but one of the frustrations that really gets me is over complexity. I mean, we've ranted on things like what have we ranted on, like research and data and stuff. I was going to go to balls to walls on that again because it's just frustrating me, but we have seen plenty of that. But another one just seems to it just frustrates me is over complexity in coaching, especially in person coaching. Like over complexity in programming is one thing, but over complexity in exercise execution is just fucking frustrates me. When you've got people or coaches setting up, and firstly, like I see three angles to blame here, three angles to blame in the conversation. We'll go through all of them. But essentially, a coach setting up 45 different bands, 35 different anchor points, and 3 different lines of pull to execute something as simple as like an RDL or a fucking deadlift or a, like, I think in the video I saw it was like a Jefferson squat mixed in with like a like the same machine setup, then went ahead and did like an upright row on a Smith machine
the
that
Jefferson
already runs
deadlift
on
or
a
whatever
track.
it was.
Yeah, that already runs on a straight track on a simple like line of force, and the mechanics of it are very simple. But you've got 35 different extensions and additions to this thing that is already set up for you.
Yeah, I have a very strong belief. Any exercise that's got the name Zercher in front of it or Jefferson in front of it needs to fuck right off.
You just don't want to do it.
Just don't do it. They are not worth it, and I will fight everyone.
But to even to do that and then add extra complexity
Yeah,
to it,
yeah.
that's
West
even
side.
fucking
We're gonna go west side.
Yeah, legit West Side Barbell that shit and just fucking add everything you possibly can. Chains, fucking what's those balance beam ones that they use for like to work on stability, and they'll add like the hanging kettlebells to it and shit.
Bamboo bars.
Yeah,
The
the
what are they
bamboo
called?
bars.
What are they called? Fuck. I know what you're talking. I know exactly what you're
Fucking
talking about. I should
frustrate
know the
like
name of them. Yeah.
just and that sort of shit where it's like you got 31 different links, change and connect and chains and connections, and then you're like trying to get someone who just wants to be fucking fitter coming into a gym, taking 45 minutes to set up that shit and be like, all right, let's do this. Like it just, if the whole point of personal training, and let's just call it personal training, it's not coaching, you're personal training, you're a personal trainer at best. And the whole point is to just to service your clients and make sure that they're walking out having achieved something, feeling good, being healthier, moving a bit. You're not impressing anyone by adding that level of complexity to that level of need. You're just overworking the situation, potentially creating barriers to entry. So they're going to get there, realize they spent fucking X dollars, probably like 60 to 80 bucks on a session. They really got 2 exercises out of because it took you 45 minutes to fucking set up. And from that, they literally get nothing out of that was going to service anyone or achieve anything specifically anyway. And then you go ahead and try and like claim that you're some sort of super biomechanics coach because you've got all these different fucking bands and angles and lines of pull. Reality is that exercise just needs to be a straight up deadlift or a fucking upright row. That's it. That's all you needed. And you've got clients now walking out of the gym pissed off or frustrated or feeling like, well, that usually I don't give a fuck. Let stupid be stupid. People do shit. It's whatever. But when you start to create the association then in those clients that's all coaching, we then cop that and have to try and rectify or correct that when we have consults with people and say, hey, I now have to fight that restriction or resistance that you created because you're a fucking shit coach or a shit educator or a shit trainer. And now I've got to rectify that to let that person actually believe that we can get a result and they're not going to waste money or not have a list of bullshit programming that they have to go and do that, fucking 41 exercises before they can get to their primary exercise. It just frustrates me because like 90% of it's not needed. And even when shit does need to be complex, it's usually just an extra intensifier or a drop set or a cluster set or a fucking a tri set if you're trying to be fancy. Like that's the max level of complexity that a movement needs.
Yeah, it's funny because like we always hear in this like game of ours that we call the fitness industry, right? There's never anything that's good and bad. It's always context and right time, right place, and it's kind of like, well, yeah, maybe, but it is funny in that I feel like, especially with exercises, I feel like there are simply just bad fucking exercises. Like it's very hard to find a true reason in a healthy individual, that is, to do Jefferson anything. I mean, I'm just really trying to think hard as to why you would do something fucking Jefferson. I know Strongman had it as an event once, I think. Idiots. I mean, we call them rock huggers for a fucking reason. But no, like, it's really like it's hard to justify certain things when we could simply do something else.
Yeah.
And I do still think the same of Zercher. Like the Zercher position, having a barbell loaded in between your fucking elbows. Like I don't see why that's needed in a strength program. In a rehab program, look, you have probably more merit to it.
Yeah.
Maybe very, very fucking hard find, but I could probably almost get behind it. Not really, but I'll allow it. I'm really struggling with it. Jeffersons, though, fuck me, man. Like, fuck me sideways. Like, they are fucking dumb. I think the Jefferson curl, like for spinal decompression, it's like hang on a bar. Like,
Yeah.
hang on a fucking bar. Like,
Yeah.
really hang on a fucking bar, dickhead. Like, there is no real reason that you need to do a Jefferson curl. Now, everyone's going to be like, it lengthens the hamstring. Blah, blah, blah. If you don't understand pelvic position and the insertions of hamstrings, like origins and insertion points of the hamstrings and how they originate in the fucking pelvis, you're probably going to be like, okay, well, you think that, but once you learn that, you're like, maybe it's really not that important because it's not. Lumbar flexion and then trying to create spatial like disc, disc space is just stupid. Like, it's the fucking dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's like your body's stacked in that position for a reason. It's protected. Like, that's how the spine works. But anyway, Andrew Locke has entered the chat. Like, fucking anyway. Anyway, I could be here all day ranting on that because people like, obviously it's a very minor trigger.
Yeah.
I completely agree. It's
2 hours later.
yeah, like I completely agree because the video that you sent me, I just thought it was actually hilarious. I was like, fucking doing a
Oh
Jefferson
yeah,
curl with bands attached is a good effort.
I thought it was a piss take, and she was like, the person who sent it through to me. I thought she was like having a laugh, being like, like this guy was taking the piss, did like a reel. No, it was serious. Apparently, he
Yeah,
did like
well,
5 exercises
I
on
know
her.
Kasim does that. So Kasim will take, for anyone that doesn't know Coach Kasim on Instagram, N1 Education, he's actually a really intelligent dude. Like really, really biomechanics. He's up there with one of the best. He also posts videos of like setups for the most advantageous like line of pull and all this sort of stuff. And then the setups are fucking insane. Like we're talking like a barbell that's vertical with a plate on it attached to a rope attached to a cable machine. Like, but at the same time, one, he also says, obviously, you can't do this because he has his own fucking studio.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like, don't do that.
yeah,
But at
yeah.
the same time, it's just funny. And it's just
I
people like,
mean,
good luck trying to do half of that shit in the gym. And it's like, yeah, it's
yeah, and
fair.
that's the thing that gets us right. Is like you see that shit, and it's like, oh, optimal, and this is the best line of pull, and this is the best line of force, and this is the most mechanically advantageous. But then you've also got to ask, okay, is that applicable to someone in a general lifestyle gym or a fitness gym or a fitness hub or fucking even a heavy training facility? Is that possible for someone to set up and do and execute a timely session and be effective? Probably not. Probably not ideal. Because like, let's say that person leaves your session and you're coaching them as a PT or just an actual, we'll call you coach if you're being a coach. You're showing them how to do this. Are they going to walk away from you and remember how to do all of that to their program and go, oh, he wrote the fucking super spiderweb fucking bench press. I've got to set up 41 different bands and 21 fucking anchor points. Are you really going to be able to do that and still execute a pretty timely session for a dad of 2 with a fucking FIFO job who wants to go home and sleep, or a mum of 3 that fucking has to drop the kids off in the morning? The likelihood of that is pretty fucking small.
Yeah,
Sure, it's like you've isolated, managed to find the most advantageous position, but it becomes redundant if it can't be done.
yeah, it's
And
exactly right.
that's just where like over complexity just shits me, because then you create limitations to entry, as in to changing a lifestyle. If you're going to be a general pop client or general pop coach, you probably are working with a lot of the first timers through the door. Adding shit like that to seem fancy is actually counterintuitive and counterproductive to what you're trying to do, because you're going to create restriction or friction to the person changing their behaviors of being more consistent. If you want a lasting client, you want someone with easy commitment points and able to consistently adhere to the lifestyle changes. If you're
Yeah,
creating these barriers of dog shit workouts or charging $150 for an hour because you lay out 40 bands, you're going to tell you to fuck right off and not come back.
yeah,
And then we
that's
lay in wake of that and have to correct it.
yeah, that's fun. That's fair. It's true. Good times. People are stupid.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
always the tagline.
Hey,
It's always my tagline. Just people are stupid. Like I honestly, I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen a fucked up setup of an exercise in a commercial gym for a very, very, very long time. Fortunately, um, yeah, I can't think of the last time I've walked into Doherty's or something like that and seen someone set up something and you just like, what? Like I haven't had that.
yep,
Yeah, for a very long time. It's always on social media.
yeah. Unfortunately, like, yeah, that
Like that's why I was like the one that you sent me. I'm like, fuck, like is that like someone in like a literally like a local gym? Because that's
yeah,
awesome.
that's what I mean. That's why I was like so happy
Yeah,
about it. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I love
Like,
that
this is
someone's
awesome.
actually sending this because it's
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, like it's not someone who's just done it for shits and giggles. Someone's
Yeah,
actually done this, walked into a
yeah. You know
gym
when you
and
see
set
the
that up.
reel and it's like, oh, someone's just done this for a fucking post, but this person's actually spent 40 minutes setting this up and
Yeah,
executing their exercise. Like it's fucking hilarious.
yeah, like good on them. But yeah, fuck.
Yeah, yeah. Well done on the level of commitment to execute that. I just don't have the
Yeah,
time.
like you listen to your coach. It's a good sign.
Well, no, the scary part is that was a trainer.
Oh, that's worrying.
Yes.
Was he
And the
trying?
scarier part than that was
Was he just trying something?
apparently it's pretty consistent.
Okay, that's worry.
Yeah.
What can do?
Yeah. I mean, that was the other part where I was going to say, like, you can see who's to blame here is like, well, firstly, the coach is obviously blamed being a fucking idiot. The the client at a certain point needs to take ownership of like if you're because the person said that someone came and did that layout for fucking whatever exercises, you're paying for that. Now, I will generally ask, like, if I'm working with someone in the service, I will generally ask as many questions I need to get my money's worth and to make sure that we're all on the same page. Because, if I'm working with a financier or something or an accountant and they're like, hey, this is what we expect or this is what we're thinking, and I have a different understanding of what that means, I've spent 3 months doing the wrong things. I don't ask questions. Fuck that. I'm asking questions. If you're a client getting prescribed that, you're not seeing anyone else in the do that, and you're not like, hey, is this normal? I don't know. It kind of falls a little bit on you as well. You'll take some ownership there for being a bit silly. Critical thinking is important. But then on top of that, the fucking gym is allowing that to happen. Like the gym, I get they're just taking rent, but you're allowing someone to do that and be like, take up that much space, that much equipment, that much facility, and charge someone for it. Get no results. You've probably got complaints, to be fair. And you're just like, yeah, keep paying us rent.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
I just
I don't know.
couldn't imagine me running a facility and being like, I'm gonna let that slide. I'm a
Yeah,
gym,
like
I'm a PT
don't get me
manager.
wrong. I'm all for trying things. Like like through COVID, my garage setup, I did some absolutely dumb shit. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
for sure.
Like, but I didn't actually implement them. I was curious. It's like, hey, I wonder if this would work. Nope.
Yep.
Or it's like, I wonder if this would work. Oh, this works fucking beautifully.
Yeah.
And then some fucker did it on fucking Instagram, copying me, and then buddy got a million views on their reel. I'm like, I suck a dick. Could at least tag
Fuck
me in the
you.
post, bro. Who made me half famous, but whatever. Got this idea from ESC, but that's fine. Whatever. Um, yeah, I mean, as a coach, experimenting and always trying things, I'm always for that. And obviously posting it, but then listing why you did it
Yeah, if you
and
can
what you
rationalize
would
it.
and what you were trying to do. It's like it's like a basic science experiment. Here's your hypothesis. Now let's go
Yeah.
test it. Ah,
Yeah.
it came to fruition. Oh nope, it didn't work. Okay,
Mhm.
well back to the drawing board. But if you're just doing something for the sake of doing something and it's not eliciting a response, I mean, it would be eliciting a response, but it'd be like, is there a safer, better, more efficient way to do
Yeah, more
this?
effective way of doing this.
Yeah, like that's where it obviously gets a little bit.
Time sensitive,
Yeah,
productive way of doing this.
yeah, that's where it gets a little bit interesting.
Yeah, but unfortunately, some people are as they are.
Well, yeah. Anyway, should we get into questions?
Yeah, let's hit it.
All right. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
Yeah, I got a few, but I started with my question was most overcomplicated thing you see in the gym. Hence my rant.
Ah, yes, yes, yes.
Um, one says apparently putting the weights back is too complex for a lot of people in the gym. Correct, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good one. Useless sports specific exercises just because they look cool for the gram and it's for your movement. Yes, I hate seeing like don't get me wrong, I like S&Cs that are well educated and actually versed and studied on other things. Like young Rowan is going ahead and doing his masters in S&C after he's done his ex-phys, so he's actually a pretty smart young man. But when you've just got like random strength coaches who are like adding in like plyo this to a step up that with holding this angle of fucking lift and the stabilizers doing this, you're gonna hold a fucking egg on a frying pan and make sure it doesn't roll so you're balanced just to learn how to do a better single leg pistol squat. Like What does that cross over to when you're a fucking rugby player or you're a fucking sprinter or like you're a anything? What is the like when you come up with this shit? What are you hoping to achieve where that specificity is so fucking important? You come up with that ridiculous out like exercise.
Yeah, it's kind of like watching is it Joel Seedman on Instagram.
Yeah.
He's the king of that shit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great. I even have people at like the gym that I work at, like a couple of them are like into, sporty stuff.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, what do you think of this exercise? And they're showing me Joel Seedman. I'm like, don't worry about
Yeah.
it. Straight away. It's like, it's Joel Seedman. Don't worry about it.
Just put a fucking statement on the wall. If it's Joel Seaman, don't ask me. Keep to
Yeah,
yourself.
exactly.
Putting D handles on absolutely everything. I mean, they have their time and place.
Yeah.
I don't think they're as long as it's merited and it's actually for a reason. Like D handle like lateral raises, chest flies,
Yeah,
table presses.
I'd be interested to know what movement this person has probably seen
Yeah,
that's had D handles on it that probably doesn't need it.
yeah.
Like I know for me, my favorite use of the D handle would be on a lat pull down, the straight bar,
Yep.
only because mixing your grip. So using a supinated grip, so supinated being palms facing like your face,
Mhm.
um, with shoulder width apart is a pretty good variation. It's a bit bicepy, but it's still a
Mhm.
pretty good variation for a lat pull down.
Mhm.
However, going pronated, it's like, yeah, if you can keep inside shoulder width, but a lot of people struggle with sort of trap engagement. They tend to,
Yeah.
their scaps sort of fly all over the place. And also, it's just
I
sometimes,
find most people in a pronated grip, if they're not really advanced or in like training age, will generally protract anyway. So they'll
exactly.
round forward.
Yeah, well, they'll flick their wrist down. They'll start
Yeah.
using their body. Like they'll do all these different sorts of things, right?
Mhm.
Um, whereas using the D, like if you put the D handles on it so you can get into a neutral grip, the cue of like elbow to like hip makes
Mhm.
it a little bit easier, and dropping that elbow in front of you, it's just a much more comfortable position to be in.
Yep.
And it's better targeted at the lat, to be honest. So it really depends on what you're using D handles for. If you're using D handles to do a bicep curl, I'd probably be like, that's a bit like strange. If you're doing like a dumbbell curl
Yeah.
and you put the D handles on the dumbbell and you're trying to do it, like yeah,
Yeah.
you have a fair call to
Trying to
say
fit
that.
it through.
Yeah, like you have a fair call to say that's stupid.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
understandable,
Otherwise,
but yeah, like D handles, it just makes the gripping usually easier. And most of the time, I'll take a D handle to take away from supinated and pronated and just move
Mhm.
to a neutral grip.
Yep. Yeah.
Because
Agreed.
neutral grips with most shit seems to work best.
Like most things, they have time and place.
Yeah, exactly right. So, like I said, it'd be interesting to know what movement they saw that's given them that
Yeah.
inclination to say D handles on everything. I'd just be very
Yep.
curious.
Hip thrust and leg extension. Yeah, we've been through that.
Yeah, yeah, been there.
Bicep curls and the hip thrust machine.
Yeah,
Fuck.
I've seen that. I've seen that.
90% of Gen Pop random train.
Yeah.
The one thing, yeah, I'll probably give that is that most people that come in, like let's say you're under the Gen Pop bell curve,
Hmm.
need to be even more simpler than like they think they need all the fancy stuff to get these crazy results, and they're the ones that can be as simple as possible to get something. Just literally simplify. If you remotely feel like the exercise you've set up is too complicated or taking too long, simplify it again and make it even simpler, and that's still going to be enough for you to get a result.
Yeah, you just move on.
Yeah, literally. Uh, CrossFit. The list of achievements, personal trainers pulling their little sign on the door, and most of it just says shit like first aid, cert 3 and 4, like your bare minimums. Do they really need to be mentioned? You kind of have to have them to work there.
Yeah, obviously it's a promotional thing from the gym or whatever. But you know what?
Like
I mean, it could be
Susie,
worse.
if you're putting fucking I can type at 103 words per minute with a rated error of 3%, that's got nothing to do with your
Yeah,
personal.
if it's a very simple short listed cert 3, cert 4, first aid, cool. Like, and who you want to work with,
Yeah.
cool. We'll just
Yeah.
start there. That's fine. But if it's like, yeah, I guess like almost like a resume of your skills,
Mm-hmm.
good communication, no weaknesses. Like I don't
Yes.
know, bro. Like, yeah, it'd be interesting.
Metal barbell clips. Fuck's sake. Why are they always stiffer than a priest at a daycare?
Oh, bruh. Don't even get me started. Butterfly clips are the worst. I'm with you. I can't fucking use them.
um, priest at a daycare.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that. I've heard that one before.
That's pretty good. The dude that always wears a belt, knee sleeves, wrist strap, stringer, headphones, no matter what.
Yeah, fucking. How else do you get gains, bro?
Yeah, that's the anabolic attachments.
100%.
Plus 10 strength per item.
Yeah, you need to be as anabolic as fuck.
The perms on the broccoli haircut wannabes for TikTok. They are complex. They are complex.
Yeah, no, fair cop, fair cop.
And adrenal fatigue.
Are we talking about adrenal fatigue and how it's not a thing?
Yeah, adrenal fatigue is a complex issue at the gym.
No, a complex issue at the gym. I mean, we know that adrenal fatigue isn't a thing. You can't fatigue your adrenal gland. That's not how it works, but it can be down regulated. It just doesn't fatigue per se. It's a funny one. Like, it's such a funny topic. I feel like that's already been done and gone now, right? Like, that was a thing, and then it was
I
already
thought it was.
and it was debunked. Like, surely people aren't still claiming adrenal fatigue, short of like ATP Science trying to sell you a supplement for adrenal fatigue.
Called
Like,
adrenal fatigue.
yeah, like, is that still a thing with them? I thought they did. They have to scrap it. I thought they did. I could be wrong, but I thought
Yeah,
they did.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that one's gone.
Yeah, I figured it has
I
to be
haven't remember
because
seeing it. I haven't sold it in ages. I never sold it for a
yeah,
long
because
time.
adrenal fatigue is genuinely not a thing. Like, no, it's kind of like most people saying my CNS is fried. It's like, no, it's probably not. You start firing your CNS, you can't walk.
Yeah. Well, people that say they can do hit 5 times a week.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, I've been there. Like, I've been the CNS dude who thought, oh yeah, my
Yeah.
CNS is fatigued, and then I learn about my CNS, and I'm like, it's definitely not fatigued.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's see what we have here. Fuck, marry, kill. Ben Cousins, Dustin Martin, and Wayne Carey. So these are all AFL footy players. Ooh, who would I do? What would I do? I mean, you'd fuck. You'd fuck Dustin Martin because he's the pretty boy. You'd marry Wayne Carey because you know you're gonna have a good time. And then,
I mean, you're probably gonna have a good time with Ben Cousins.
oh, Wayne Carey, I reckon, is an fucking undercover fucking goer, man. Like, I
Undercover
reckon,
goer.
yeah, I reckon he's got some shit going on. And then, yeah, kill Ben Cousins. If you are prescribed TRT through a doctor, can you still compete in natural federations? So, depending on the sport, they have their own select criteria. Some will have a range, actually, most of them will have a range that you need to be inside of in terms of your testosterone count. Some powerlifting feds are like, I know the old school powerlifting Australia fed here allowed those to compete with a prescription for TRT. I can't remember if they had the amount. Like, I think they did, because I think it was a WADA ASADA rule that you had to fall inside the whatever it is, 10, I don't know, 10 to 20. Like, I don't know. I can't remember. Whatever it is. And I'm pretty sure that's how that works. So I imagine that'd be the case for most, if not all, feds. But yeah, you still can compete provided you fall inside the guidelines. That's fine. Because in theory, if you're doing TRT from a doctor, you're not in super physiological amounts. You're in physiological amounts. So even though we know that,
Just imagine TRT and you're coming back like you come back with your prescription, but you get tested. It's like your free test is like 5,000. His power level's over 9,000.
Yeah, literally.
But I got a prescription.
Yeah, so I mean, that should be fine. It should be fine based on the Fed and obviously what their recommendations are. Set up for a squat in front of the bar and stepping forward out of the rack is the scariest setup, yes or no? Yeah, that's pretty fucked. You know, when you set up in a squat rack, instead of unracking back, taking a step back, people to take a step forward.
Yes.
Yeah, it burns my soul. Well, just that fucking kills me. I don't get it. I've seen a couple people do it because they don't want to see the mirrors. Like, you know, if they're in a commercial gym, so the mirrors are directly in front of them, so they unrack backwards. I mean, it's really not hard just to turn around and just set up the J hooks the other way. Most of them. There could be some that don't allow you to do it. I figure you're better off being safe than sorry and just squatting in the mirror. Like, anyway, yeah, walking forward and walking back does my head in. My head in. Maca powder as pre-workout. Not something I'm familiar with.
Maca powder. Hang on.
MACA powder. isn't something I'm very, very familiar with.
I can be from bulk nutrients.
It's high levels of iron and iodine to promote healthy cells.
I can't see why
Big
that would
doses of
benefit.
potassium. Yeah, I don't think it's going to help you pre-workout.
Yeah, that's not gonna help anything for pre-workout.
No, no. I
Iron is
know.
also rich in calcium, amino acids, vitamins, and minerals. I mean, rich is a loose term. You can claim anything under rich if you haven't put exact amounts. Like you could say rich, and it's just 1% of your day's intake, so that's not going to do much.
I know that from memory, I'm pretty sure it was maca powder. Oh, I got to check. I'm fairly sure there was a study done on maca powder and sexual function in men, but it was like a really small group. It was like 12 men that had was either it was either erectile dysfunction or I can't remember. There was something wrong, obviously, with their sex lives. Basically, they gave them maca powder for 12 weeks, and in 12 weeks' time, they saw an increase in was it the was it the hormonal effect? There was an increase, and it was a positive result. In sex, I think it was a sexual performance, maybe something like that. It was one of them. It might have been sexual performance from memory. Having a look now. Yeah, it was 2009. Okay, 50 men. I thought it was 12 men. Mild with mild erectile dysfunction, 2.4 grams of maca extract and a placebo. After 12 weeks, the men who received the
Yeah,
maca extract, saw a significant effect on their
yeah.
sexual performance. There you go.
So
So
it's known as Peruvian Viagra.
yeah. It's like the natural Viagra. So maybe
Yeah.
that's why the question about it being pre-workout, like the
Yeah.
vasodilation,
Yeah.
that would make more sense.
Yes.
Because we know the people that were taking still take Cialis pre-workout. Yeah,
It's
not gonna lie, I've tried it once. It was a very minuscule amount, and I just wanted to bang afterwards. To be honest, I didn't notice any difference in terms of vasodilation. Probably doesn't help that I'm naturally like quite lean in my arms and legs. I fucked up.
Makes it hard to creep in the gym. You just walk around with an erection.
You have to wear like 3 skins, 4 underwear,
Yeah.
like
Tape tuck down, do a tuck job.
Yeah, like
Do the Miriam tuck job.
that was interesting, but I digress. What else we got on here? That's it for my personal ones. Let's check.
That was an interesting point I saw. Something that me and Brooklyn were talking about yesterday was so that study we're talking about, like they used 12 people. The thing that frustrates me when it comes to people attacking like supplementation, things like that, is they'll find a study that's used of like a cohort of like 8 or 7, or you've got 10 people and it was like 5 weeks and barely any control variables except for the one they're trying to manipulate, and everything else was just fucking all over the shop. And then they'll use that to make a statement like, this caffeine is better for this pre-workout, or the caffeine doesn't do anything, and don't do this for training. It's like, that's like it. I don't know. It frustrates me because people aren't taught how to critically assess studies as well as like the results. So like you can read the abstract and go to the conclusion all you want, but did you go through how the study was conducted? What do they cross over? What study methods did they use? What were the participants?
Yeah, you know how many so-called coaches just read the abstract?
Yeah, fucking shits me.
Oh, bro, it's still. I can't get over that it's still happening. I literally had someone tell me last week that happened to them. Like they got blocked on social media by a coach because they didn't agree with them, and then they tried to send them a research study to prove them wrong and hadn't read the study.
Yeah,
and the person sent me the person's read the study. Person sent me the study, and I was like, I've already read the study. I'm like, has this person actually read the actual study and participants and target groups? And then the person was like, well, no, I don't think so. I'm like, well, the person's a fuckhead. Like,
there's no point having the
conversation. And this is like a I wouldn't say semi-popular coach, but a coach that's starting, I think, to come up a little bit, post some interesting shit. I don't follow them. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're just a fucking moron.
Yeah, okay, cool.
But by definition, if you haven't read this research article, the full article, and you've only read the abstract and like tried to argue with someone over an abstract, you're a dickhead.
Yes, you're already
straight out. You're a dickhead. Stop. Kill yourself.
100%.
Like, yeah. Like I have
because like there's a lot of these unnecessary studies, or like not unnecessary, but the result is so insignificant. Like I saw one the other day where it was like the effect of caffeine versus coffee as a pre-workout for a certain type of population, and then someone had shared it and used it as like see, this is why I only drink coffee or whatever, and it was like the difference itself was like 0.02 of a number, not percentage. So it's not even anywhere near significant enough to even report on. And it was of 8 people and it was of a particularly trained, like highly aerobic population.
Yeah.
And then someone had used it to talk about caffeine and like something else in terms of like supplementation being wrong. And I was like, if you can't gather from this critical thinking here that sample size, that population type, who they're training for, what they're training for, the actual result itself, like if you can't see that and go, it doesn't fucking matter, then like there's no teaching you, there's no helping you, because you just wanted to get to a conclusion you already found.
Yeah, exactly right. Like I always say, people are stupid.
See,
more talk around women and PEDs. How much can women achieve without them? I mean, look, I understand the need to talk more about women and PEDs. If you're not already, follow Coach Darian, Coach Daz. I think it might be on Instagram. She's putting out some really good female PED stuffs. Yes, highly encouraging her to actually do more on social media with female PEDs and corner the market. But because it seems to be women don't listen to guys when it comes to female PEDs. That's my conclusion.
you don't know about my progesterone.
No, like, don't get me wrong, most are pretty good. I shouldn't say that, but I feel like if it comes from a female, it tends to be much better received. Yeah, I agree. There should be much more talk. I've got podcasts on the Elite Strength podcast talking about female enhancements.
I just thought all female pro athletes were natty.
Yeah, 100%. Like message one of us and we can go into in-depth conversation. I just don't want to talk about it off a question, off a podcast, off a Q&A, because I'd be here a whole hour talking about female and PED usage. You don't need to use anabolic androgenic steroids. Just saying. There are other forms of enhancement. That's what I'll leave that with. Would you rather spend a year with Goggins or a year training with CBum? CBum. Yeah, cool.
Goggins. Most you can get for Goggins, you can get from his books. CBum, you just want to be around CBum.
Yeah. Imagine being that. Like, you just get famous.
Exactly.
Who you got playing you in a movie about your life?
Oh, fucking hell. Obviously The Rock, at his size now. That's the most accurate reflection.
Closest to. It's still a bit small.
2 and Polynesian and black. I'm 5'9" at best and half his weight.
Well, it's like Black Adam. Like, he wanted to play Black Adam because he wanted to play someone of color.
Yeah. Yeah.
What, bro? Sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna let that one slide.
Okay.
I feel like everyone let that slide. Like, no one jumped on that.
We'll let you be. You're the Rock, so we'll let this pass.
Kind of. It's like, okay, we'll give you one pass. That was it. No more.
Tell him, Peter. Everyone gets one. Everyone gets one.
Yeah, literally.
Spider-Man.
Who would play me in a movie? It'd be interesting.
Maybe someone with a beard.
That's what I was trying to think of. Trying to think of someone that. I know who I got.
Who?
Keanu Reeves.
That's fair.
Yeah. Give him the short hair, like Matrix haircut, but then with my beard. Done.
That's fair. Yeah.
I'm gonna take Keanu Reeves. Quiet. Doesn't do much. Doesn't talk much. I like it. That's me.
I don't know. Like my smart assness and the things that got me in trouble as a kid, I have to go along the lines of like Reynolds or Pratt, but at the same time, then I wouldn't say.
I would have said Ryan Reynolds for being like the humorous side, but it's only ever so much, whereas I feel like he's just funny all the time.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I have my moments where I feel like that or Gerard Butler, actually. I'm going to go Gerard Butler. I'm going to change mine. Gerard Butler. Yeah. I'm going to go Gerard Butler.
Yeah, Gerard Butler's fair.
Yeah, I like that.
Like I could go Reynolds purely just for like, I can't shut off being a smartass.
Yeah, 100%.
It just has to be on all the time.
Yeah.
The amount of problems I've got into for just not being serious about something, like laughing at funerals and shit, and every time's just like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, 100%. I'm with that.
And obviously because I get to bang Blake Lively, so that's.
I mean, look, there is also that added benefit. Let's be real.
The only pro that matters, really.
Well,
Deadpool, just give me Blake Lively.
It's definitely worth it. It's definitely up there. I think that's all I've got for questions.
That's all I got.
Yes. So, as always, what do we got coming out? Do we need to know about?
What do we got coming out? We just made our books free, which I thought we were already done. So I put everyone up last. I said to everyone yesterday, I was like, yeah, go download my stress book. It's free. I forgot there wasn't. So I made it free for everyone. So go download it. It is good. I would like to think it's been read by some professors and people who've just had their PhDs accepted. So it was, yeah, it was like a fast. I'd say fast track. It's still 100 pages, but it's a fast track way of digesting and understanding and compartmentalizing stress science. So give it to read. What else we got? What else we got? Oh, we opened up, as I announced today. We are starting at 0W once or twice a month. If face-to-face training, coaching.
Yep.
So I can put all the bands and power bands and resistance bands in place that I want and not get in trouble. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to do any of that. Yeah,
Do it.
I'll be doing face-to-face there. So we open it up to clients first and foremost already paying, and then probably opening the second day for public options to book in, get a face-to-face session and see if we click and you want to do more coaching. And we've got a few seminars around hypertrophy and female athletics and identity. Me and Josh will be finishing that off. And yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, I got. Now that you already ran your female one, didn't you?
See.
Yeah, you did. Because I remember there was like you weren't. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, no, I did it because it was a bit of a clusterfuck. Like it's only the second time they run it, but it was just like the chick I thought who was the communicator was not, and I'd come off stage and was like,
"That's right. Yeah,
hey, how's things going?"
yeah,
And it was like
yeah.
4 days
That's
later.
right. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Good to know. That's about it. I haven't really got much going on. We'll open up coaching spots again. I think I haven't really advertised. I keep forgetting that I should advertise to let people know if I have spots available versus people just messaging me, hey, by the way, do you have spots available? Like it's a fair call, my bad. So I'll get on top of that. That's about it. Yeah, that's about it really. Like I keep saying I want to do all this stuff, but I'm probably not going to do it. So
Maybe.
I just haven't got the capacity to do it right now.
That's fair.
It's just going to coach clients and do podcasts and talk shit.
That's fair.
Yeah, train
Good
and play golf.
Good at those things.
Yeah.
We'll organize our seminars eventually, make it happen down there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to, like, I've done female physiology seminars, I was going to say, but totally forgot. Anyway, I should do that. I should organize those. And also try and plan this whole Bali or Thailand thing that we're trying to do.
Please message us an expression of interest if you'd be.
Yeah, we should put that on the page.
Yeah. So we're looking for, if you are listening, we are looking at a 7-day training camp run by yours truly, ourselves. Overseas, obviously, that's why it's Bali, Thailand. So it'll be like a bunk with, train with, eat with, live with kind of thing. Yeah, obviously there'll be some just periods of education and seminars and periods of relaxing and resting, and there'll be some fucked up training sessions, intensifier sets, and going through that sort of shit. So we're looking at doing that and taking it overseas.
Yeah, see how we go with that. It should be fun.
Yeah. We're looking at what, maybe 10, 15 people if we can make it happen.
Yeah, I think 10's always a good start. If we get more than 10, sweet. If not, no harm, no foul. So we'll see how we go.
Message us an expression of interest because we'll need to know if it's worth doing because we want to do it, and it'll be towards the early start of next year.
Yeah, I think Feb we were looking at start of Feb because school holidays end. So
so you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, because fuck kids.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty much.
All right. Well, that is it from us as always, guys and girls. Any questions, topics of interest, always drop them in the question boxes that we put up on a Wednesday morning, or DM one of us to let us know what you want us to talk about.
Yes, please do. More funny training videos, please.
Oh, fucking oath. That's it from us as always.
Right. See you guys.